It's Sunday, December 9, 2018. Welcome to LCJ Live. I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Welcome to the show. Got a lot to talk about today. Coming up, my exclusive first take on Bumblebee. If you saw a lot of reviews come out last night and say, oh man, it's the best Transformers movie, it's so fun, I have a completely different opinion on that coming up. Plus, Spiderman Into the Spiderverse. I saw it yesterday too. I don't think I'm a fan of it as much as other people as well. You're gonna want to hear my hot takes on that and the box office. 2 animated movies dominating, but we could have a different winner tomorrow. Plus, another big week of award season nominations are coming up. Critics' Choice Awards. I voted for the nominees. We'll see what they are tomorrow. And the SAG Awards nominations are coming up on Wednesday. As always, send in your questions, your comments, what you got for me, because I'm going to read them live on the air to you today, right here, right now, live on LCJ Live. Let's look at the box office and talk about Ralph Breaks the Internet. $16 million to win the weekend. Right behind it is The Grinch with around $15 million. So really tight 1-2 power there. I could easily see, because of the separation of the two, I could easily see Grinch taking over Ralph when the actuals are released tomorrow. I can totally see that happening because it's a Christmas movie. And people catching up on The Grinch closer to the holidays. Ralph Breaks the Internet started out strong, but let's be honest here. If it's number one even for 3 weekends, which the original from 2012 was only number one for 1, it's still not going to gross the $189 million that the first Wreck-It Ralph did in 2012. It's just not going to get there, especially considering the fact that Spider-Man opens up this coming weekend for families. I think Disney's got to be a little disappointed, even though Ralph is currently number one 3 weeks in a row. The fact that it's not going to get to that 189, it's only at 140, it ain't going to get there, Disney is not going to be happy about that at all. Universal, they're cautiously optimistic. Hey, maybe we get another Grinch win out of this because, again, the separation is less than $1 million. It'll be interesting to see what these 2 animated movies do today and if there is a flip-flop tomorrow. Creed 2, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald in 3rd and 4th, Bohemian Rhapsody in 5th. Thanks for joining us at S. Boyer 1621. In 6th place again this weekend is the comedy Instant Family, starring Mark Wahlberg and Rose Byrne. I had the chance to finally catch up on Instant Family on Friday, and I like the movie. It's at times genuinely funny. It's warm. It's a little rough around the edges in places. A couple scenes, Sean Anders, the director who also did the Daddy's Home movies, goes a little too far in the comedy department, a little too far with certain running gags and aspects of the movie. But the core story really works. The performances are good, especially Isabella Moner, who plays the oldest daughter in the family, and Margot Martindale as Mark Wahlberg's character's mother is really good as well. There's a lot of nice scenes in this movie, a lot of memorable moments. And it feels like a movie you surprisingly immerse yourself into much more than I expected to. So if you haven't seen Instant Family yet, I recommend it. And if you see it at a Regal Cinemas location from now through this Thursday, you can actually get buy one ticket, get one free. But there is a bit of a stipulation. There's a picture I posted on my social media the other day that lists it as a buy one, get one. You have to show them that picture, the ticket people, and use your Regal card. So look for that picture and use your Regal card, and you will get in buy one, get one free to Instant Family, again, now through Thursday, and I recommend you seeing it. It's up to $55 million. I hope it keeps making a little more money over the coming weeks because it's a film that deserves it. It is a nice change of pace from a lot of movies that we see out from Hollywood these days. Green Book in 7th this weekend. It basically made the same amount of money as last weekend, close to $4 million. Robin Hood, The Possession of Hannah Grace, and Widows round out your top 10. No new movies entered the top 10 this weekend because no new movies went nationwide this weekend. The only wide-release film was the 25th anniversary re-release of Schindler's List, which actually didn't do all that well, just about $500,000. But 3 big movies opened up in limited release and did pretty well. Mary Queen of Scots, $200,000, 4 theaters, per screen average of $50,000. Vox Lux with Natalie Portman opened up in 6 locations with $160,000. And Ben is Back with Julia Roberts in 4 theaters, making $80,000. I've seen 2 of those movies. I've seen 2 of those films, not all 3, because Focus Features decided not to send out Mary Queen of Scots screeners to Critics' Choice members, to Broadcast Film Critics Association members. So don't be surprised if when the Critics' Choice nominations come out tomorrow that Mary Queen of Scots is nowhere to be found, because Focus Features decided not to send out screeners. They decided to send out ones for On the Basis of Sex with Felicity Jones as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which doesn't open up until Christmas Day limited. But yet, the movie that opened sooner and was also done in time for us to see it, Mary Queen of Scots, they decided not to do that. So we'll see what happens if it gets some nominations tomorrow. I did see Vox Lux with Natalie Portman several weeks ago. Natalie Portman, I think, is miscast in this movie. She really doesn't give a great performance. The accent that she tries goes in and out, and it's a weird little movie. It works a lot better early on than it does later. Not a huge fan of Vox Lux. I do like Ben is Back. I think Julia Roberts deserves to be in the Best Actress conversation, and Lucas Hedges is having quite a year with this, his role in Mid-90s, and Boy Erased, which he got a Golden Globe nomination for on Thursday. So I do like that. More like Julia is Back 2018 is her year, says Shane Mendez. Yeah, this is the first big Julia Roberts performance that we've seen from her in several years, garnering award season attention. She could get back into the Best Actress category, but it's a really competitive year. And she didn't get the Golden Globe nomination on Thursday. Many thought she would for this movie. She did get a Golden Globe nomination for her performance on the TV series Homecoming, but not for Ben is Back. We will see what happens. Again, Critics' Choice nominations tomorrow. We can nominate 6 women in that lead actress category. And then the SAG Awards nominations on Wednesday. We will have to see what happens there. So again, a big limited release open for 3 movies this weekend, but nothing new in the wide releases. And maybe Grinch will actually be the #1 movie when all is taken care of tomorrow. All right, I saw 2 movies yesterday. I saw Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse and Bumblebee. I'll start with Spider-Man because I saw Spider-Man first. Sony decided on Wednesday, hey, we're going to do these nationwide sneak previews of this movie. Some locations had it Friday night at 7. A location near me had it Saturday at 2. It was a sold-out showing, a rather small room, but it's still sold-out showing. People found out about this movie and decided, oh my gosh, yes, I got to see Spider-Man 6 days before everybody else. So I had already seen the first 35 minutes of Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse at New York Comic Con back in October. They had the directors, the entire cast there, the producers, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller there, and they surprised everybody in the crowd by showing the first 35 minutes, which was pretty much done. It was like 90% of the animation was done. And I liked that first 35 minutes. The setup is really promising. There's a couple big surprises in it. Obviously, the Stan Lee cameo, which has been talked about, is in that first 35 minutes. And when people at the screening I went to yesterday saw the Stan Lee version of his character appear on the screen, there were a lot of gasps in the crowd. Because obviously, Stan Lee was still alive in October. There was a different kind of gasp at Comic-Con seeing Stan Lee as there was yesterday at the screening. So it starts out good. But then once we get to the point where it was new material for me, it's kind of hit and miss throughout. The big problem I have with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the lack of emotional connection. I really wasn't able to get there with Miles Morales or his family situation or the dynamic between his character and the older Spider-Man mentorship type style. And then they throw in a lot of other characters. Spider-Gwen, the Spider-Ham, the Spider-Man Noir, voiced by Nicolas Cage, who I think may actually be the best character in the entire movie. There's a lot going on. And there are definitely some surprises, and I give the screenwriters a lot of credit for some surprises that I think Spider-Man fans are going to like. This is for the fanboy crowd. This is for the fangirl crowd. But if you're an animation person and not really a Spider-Man person, it's kind of hit and miss because the animation, they did hand-drawn animation over every frame of the CGI, and sometimes that creates a bit of a blurry effect on situations and characters and things that are not in focus, and it's really distracting. I was very surprised by that. So, mixed results on Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I'm going to have my full review later today, and I'll get more in-depth on it, but I was a little underwhelmed by Spider-Verse. At Popcorn Picks, I took my kids 7 and 5 to see The Grinch yesterday. Kids were delighted. I was pleased by its kindness. But The Grinch is supposed to be mean. Isn't The Grinch supposed to be mean? So, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the Grinch movie. I thought it was flat, and when I went to the showing I went to, A lot of kids there, hardly laughed at all, only really when the giant reindeer appeared on screen. I think I like Spiderverse a little more than The Grinch, though, if I had to compare the two. But Spider-Man is really not for kids. There's a lot of action, it is PG, but it's the fanboy crowd, the Spider-Man fans, who are going to love Into the Spider-Verse much more than families. Alright, second new movie I saw yesterday, second advanced screening. A few weeks ago, Paramount decided we're going to do nationwide advanced screenings of Bumblebee, the new Transformers prequel spin-off movie, 2 weeks before it opens. It doesn't open until Thursday, December 20. This is directed by Travis Knight, who did Kubo and the Two Strings, the mastermind of Laika Animation, deciding to go to Paramount and doing a live-action movie. I interviewed Travis for Kubo. Really nice guy. He did amazing things with Kubo, amazing things over at Laika. I'm so sorry, but Bumblebee is a terrible movie. Easily one of the 10 worst movies of 2018. From the performances to the characters. I didn't like a lot of the Transformers movies because it was just dominated by clank on clank metal and ridiculous action and all that. There's a little bit of that here and there. But the real problems with Bumblebee is all the stuff with the humans. Every scene with any human character, which is about 92% of this movie, doesn't work. Haley Steinfeld is playing an 18-year-old, and she doesn't seem like she's in her element here. The parents aren't funny. The ridiculous little brother, the ridiculous boyfriend who doesn't help her at all. And then there's John Cena. If your main lead actor in an action movie like this is John Cena, look, he's got a long way to go to try to replicate the success of Dwayne Johnson as a big screen action movie star, charisma, all of that from the wrestling world. He's got a long way to go. He delivers a lot of corny lines. I think a lot of people who are into lowbrow humor and not high-quality entertainment humor are going to love this movie because it plays so low. And there's a lot of corny situations, goofy things that happen in this movie, and a lot of scenes of just Haley Steinfeld talking to Bumblebee and going nowhere. It goes absolutely nowhere. It is Bumble E.T. because this storyline is just basically E.T., but in the Transformers world, there's nothing unique, there's nothing original, there's nothing exciting. It is boring at times. The setup goes on way too long. Yes. At DJ Ricopo says the Transformers movies are stupid. Yeah, I mean, I don't often like to use the word stupid when it comes to a movie, but this movie's just bad. It's just dull, and I walked out of it just shaking my head. A lot of people are saying this is better than a lot of the Transformers movies. No, I think it's just as bad as the other Transformers movies, but for completely different reasons. It is 2 hours. It is a painful 2 hours. I've never walked out of a movie intentionally early in my life. I don't think I've ever walked out of a movie, period. But if somebody said to me, hey, you got to get out of this theater right now, I wouldn't have mind walking out of Bumblebee about 50-60% of the way through. No harm, no foul. Nothing wrong with that. I could have easily walked out of that movie last night. So I'll have my full review coming up on Bumblebee as well, either today or tomorrow, talking about Bumblebee, and yeah. Not good, guys. I'm sorry to the Decepticons and the Autobots and all of that. Ugh. Yeah, no. Bumblebee is one of the worst movies of 2018. So tomorrow, Critics' Choice nominations come out. We nominate 6 in the Best Director category: Actor, Actress, Supporting Actor, Supporting Actress. You could see some Golden Globe carryover, but you could also see some nominees who didn't get Golden Globe nominations, like Ethan Hawke for Best Actor for First Reformed, or Toni Collette for Best Actress for Hereditary. There's going to be some big snubs tomorrow. I can feel it. Emily Blunt is not a guarantee for a Best Actress nomination. I hope she gets it for Mary Poppins, but she is not a guarantee. No one's really a guarantee. We could see Ryan Gosling get into the category for First Man, but we might not. He didn't get a Golden Globe nomination the other day. I thought he would. I wish he would. I hope he gets one for Critics' Choice, but he's not a guarantee. So we'll have to see what happens. And then on Wednesday, 5 nominations for the Screen Actors Guild Awards in all the categories. There's rarely a tie there when it comes to the movie categories. What will be up in the coveted Best Acting Ensemble category? I wrote this on social media the other day. Maybe Black Panther will probably get in there. Black Panther will probably get a Critics' Choice Best Picture nomination as well. Could Avengers Infinity War do that? I don't know. I wish it would, because it's an even bigger, more extravagant cast, and they're all really good in Avengers Infinity War. I just don't know if that's going to happen. So we'll have to see. Will Widows get anything for Critics' Choice, says Academy Picks. Widows got shut out of the Golden Globes, and a lot of people were surprised. But again, when I saw this movie in October, I said it's a good heist thriller movie, but it is not award season material. The critics may put it in the ensemble category, and Widows is destined for SAG Awards Best Ensemble nomination because of the extravagant cast that it has. Liam Neeson, Viola Davis, Cynthia Erivo, Michelle Rodriguez, Robert Duvall, Colin Farrell, Brian Tyree Henry, who was in Spider-Man yesterday, Daniel Kaluuya, and many others. But it'll just depend on what the voters saw from Widows. Did they see it as anything more than just a decent heist thriller movie that doesn't go into award season levels with any of the performances? We'll have to see what happens tomorrow, Wednesday with that, and tomorrow with Critics' Choice. The nominations for the SAG Awards come out on Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Going to be doing the live stream of that and on TV on TNT and TBS. And also, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern is when the Critics' Choice nominations come out. And right at 10 a.m. Eastern, right when they come out, I'm going to be back here for a special edition of LCJ Live. Going to break down the Critics' Choice Awards nominations in all the movie categories live. Going to get my instant reactions, my instant takes on what happens. I'll give you some indication on what I thought was going to happen, versus what the nominations are. We'll go through some of the categories, see what happens, take a look at their Critics' Choice history. So be back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, live for a special edition of LCJ Live covering the Critics' Choice Awards nominations. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. So I hope you join me then, and I hope you join me again next Sunday at noon Eastern when we talk about how Spider-Man and the Mule did at the box office and preview how Mary Poppins Returns, Bumblebee, Aquaman, and Second Act with Jennifer Lopez, they're all coming out the next week, how they're all going to do at the box office as well. So, Widows could also score sound editing or editing nominations. The editing was spectacular. Maybe editing. First Man, maybe editing, though I didn't love the editing in that. We'll have to see with all those nominations. So, be back here next Sunday at noon Eastern for another LCJ Live. What film will get the most Critics' Choice nominations? If I had to take a guess, I would say A Star is Born is probably going to be one of the top ones, though technical category-wise may not completely be A Star is Born. It could be a few others, but I would say if A Star is Born doesn't end up one of the top 2 or 3 movies, maybe Roma will get some more, but if A Star is Born isn't one of the top 2 or 3 movies that gets the most nominations tomorrow, I will be very surprised. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern for a special edition of LCJ Live covering the Critics' Choice nominations. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe and watch the latest video. See you tomorrow. Award season is here. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Bye, everybody.